Ugh, what happened? Oh, how long was I out for? Oh shit, mate, never trust the mysterious cloaked man hanging out behind the levees in the town centre. Oh, especially if he offers you a steaming mug of his organic juju bean coffee. Oh, feels like I still got my kidneys, so I guess I got away with it this time. Anyway, I was telling you a story, wasn't I? I just had a massive battle with France and taken Hungary, and next I was aching to grab my tosser tweezers and pull the Frenchy maggots off the corpse of Vienna. Moved up 3 armies to try and get it going, and oh god, now I remember why telling this story makes me want to go back for another friendly pint with old organ grinder Gary of Shitstain Alley. One of the 3 armies meant to show up to the battle managed to get all their cocks stuck in each other's Chinese finger traps, so they weren't there on the night and I had to call it all off. So I told the troops to just wait for another night and I'd get down to the 3rd army with a pair of bolt cutters and a bucket and sort this mess out midwife style. But no, that would be too easy. That would result in the quick and effective relief of my French infection, so that just wasn't gonna happen. The army that made it on the first night went fucking apeshit and rushed off into the countryside without so much as a fuck this shit in explanation to me. Probably heard there was a nudie colony out there or something and thought that getting executed by me the moment they came back was worth it for a glimpse of some old sagbag hag with an Austrian flag, or maybe it was a shrunk junk hunk with a flagpole that stunk. The only consolation was that the French just let me have Innsbruck back for free, very kind of them. Decided to prove that karma didn't exist by killing everyone who surrendered, gathered up 8,000 men to attack their 500, and somehow my motherfucking generals managed to lose 3 times the amount the enemy did. What the actual fuck did you even do out there, you... So, while I was raging out, one of my ministers told me that we were no longer allowed to flog our stolen sugar to Spain, which sounded surely suspicious, as I sure as shit sussed they snorted 6 spongy soufflés of the stuff at supper and silently sucked sachets soaking with saliva to survive their sodding siestas. Shit! These stinking supplements supplied summarily by Semitic Samaritans see spectacular syllable stuttering shut-ins seek superior salves for such significant situations as my fucking alliteration problem. Oh wait, yep, we're fine again now. I think the whole point I was going to make was that it turned out Spain had fucking declared war on me, and the whole trade deal shtick was just my minister's way of avoiding a boot to the baby chute. Overall, the situation was fucked, as all of a sudden I had to worry about these Iberian idiotas throwing my worldwide boosting game. They had a big fleet waiting in port, easily enough to trash years of good heisting in the blink of an eye. Took my mind off it for a moment by heading back to Vienna, where this time I wasn't going to take any chances. I gathered up 5 field armies and surrounded the French, leaving 2 back in Hungary to face off against yet another French invasion that was sneaking in. Frenchies just ran away and it was all resolved. Wasn't that hard, was it, you fucking weasel whackers? I was going to get all my dudes together to attack the French, but turned out they actually wanted to attack me. And suddenly showed up before I was ready, bringing a motherfucking super weapon along with them that had my men spouting Krakatoas of crap. A hot air balloon. Shit boy, call it off, get peace, give it all back. They brought out the big guns, no need to go there more on me. We'll be heading off now, see ya. Yeah, it all ended in stalemate. We just stared at each other basically, and I left my men to speculate on the enemy's witchcraft in order to get an offensive going someplace else. Stuttgart looked ripe for the plucking, so I rolled out with a modest bunch of battle-hardened bogans to make the steel real. Enemy fucked off toot sweet, and it was ours, nice and smooth. The sort of relaxing war experience I needed after walking through all these acid piss storms lately. Eventually I was going to have to face the facts though. I needed to somehow fuck Spain's shit up without using troops, since I needed every man-like creature I could find to plonk in front of the French guns to drain their ammunition. But of course I remembered, I had my fuck-off fleet, currently dock-blocking the French near Marseille. I needed to destroy that fleet and then go dock-block the Spanish so that all my pirate pals could keep up their jolly rogering without asshole amigos getting involved. It was finally time for old Nappy Boy here to whip out his cutlass and show a whole bunch of sailors that I meant business, and not referring to the incident that happened early on the night of my stag do. Oh fuck, I keep forgetting I'm supposed to be getting married back in my timeline. Can I show up in my khakis? I don't think I'm going to be picking up a suit at this rate. Anyway, so it was time to challenge the French to a water fight, and they gladly sailed out for a bit of the old whoosh bang glug. The French were in two parallel lines, and so was I. Didn't take a master strategist to work out what to do here. My two lines bent out to surround the enemy, blasting them from both sides as we cruised on by, the wind at our backs and our trousers fully tinted at the sight of the French ships being smashed apart. Their leading ships were quickly making like the Bible and getting holy, which turned out to be a great way to turn your own trawlers into an instant submarine. The French plan was to turn and bust through my line. Although their flagship was beefy enough to do it, most of the rest were just going to get slowly but surely shot to pieces by my own balmy buccaneers. I didn't really have anything to do, just whipped out the sun lounger and relaxed on the poop deck, the corks on my hat occasionally swaying in the wake of a passing cannonball. It was the Mediterranean after all, classic holiday destination, and with the war and all it's hard to find the time to really unwind. I was just like, fuck it, I know shit's exploding everywhere, but this is about as good a time as any to catch up on my reading and top up the tan. Now, some wanker had been chucking all kinds of shit into the magic swamp back in my timeline, probably amazed at how it just disappeared, but it was spewing out all over Sardinia. Kind of annoying at first, but I quickly realised I was going to be able to kit myself out with the finest old washing machines and ex-husband's shiny watches I could desire. Advantages of living in a time sink, I guess. Anyway, a few days back I got really excited as a Back to the Future box set showed up. Exactly what I needed, right? Surely this was going to get me back, well, you know, but unfortunately it was a little less educational than I'd hoped. I was just sitting there shouting at the screen, I don't care about your hilarious incest adventures, tell me how to build a fucking time machine using only lion's furs and the souls of a million backwater fuckwits. But then I picked up a copy of Brief History of Time, and I thought, you know what? The greatest person in all history is right here, wearing a roo-hoof necklace. If there's anyone who can work out time travel in a single afternoon, while also directing one of history's major naval battles, and trying to break his addiction to fucking sweet-ass fucking dodo egg powder, then it's probably me, right? Bloody right. I was swiping paper like it was diarrhea season, learning all that shit like fucking Neo in the Matrix. I was getting so clued up on black holes and space-time that I could hear Einstein crying from 100 years in the past. Halfway through, it might as well have been me that wrote it. I could see all the Hawkster's mistakes from a nautical mile off, even with half the local deckage going up in flames as the French fleet dropped like my chances of getting a mortgage in 2008. With all that knowledge, I realised I was onto something back when I kept launching people into space with only a wooden spoon and an active beehive for sustenance. I worked out, taking all the quantum fluctuations, cosmological constants and my newly theorised space-time wankiness factor into account, that I could get back to Oz before my stag do was even over. All I needed was to exploit the energies of a passing cloud of dark energy and throw myself into it at just the right angle and with just the right number of dead French emperors within a 3-foot radius. In practical terms, I just had to build a giant space trebuchet big enough to launch me at close to the speed of light and watch the skies for a passing patch of invisible space magic. If I wasn't busy trying to tell my admirals that mercy was for betas, I probably would have had it done by that afternoon. Should probably finish the story of that battle anyway. Basically, everything got blown to smithereens and halfway back again, but the enemy commander wasn't giving up. As my men tried to snipe him to get this shit over with before the next season of Game of Thrones popped through the time vortex, he just stood on his smashed up hulk looking like an absolute goon. We poured it on him and actually missed the big moment when he finally won the Bite the Bullet challenge, as I was looking at some shit exploding elsewhere. Pretty pissed about that actually, as I can see a ship explode whenever I want. It's all that happens at most of the Sardinian docks. But anyway, the sea boss was lost and soon his ship went up in smoke as well. Nice fireworks to celebrate our victory. Although actually, while we were waiting for the rest of the sea snails to work out it was time to go home, another ship blew its load all over one of mine, cheeky shits. Luckily that kamikaze crapshoot was a failure, and after another couple of thousand years the ref blew his whistle and said that we won, but just barely. You fucking what, mate? Close victory? We destroyed 9 of their massive warships and captured 5 to use for ourselves, and we didn't lose a single fucking thing. Oh yeah mate, they nearly had us. If they just downed a couple of energy drinks, they'd have taken our 18 ships downtown without any losses. They were on the cusp, but they just barely slipped and accidentally lost absolutely everything while achieving absolutely nothing. Good game, close match, but the better man on the day won. If you come back from the dead sometime, we'll have another round. Fucking close victory. Anyway, that cruise against the red, white and blues took so long I didn't have time to go after the Spanish before more French shit was being flung. They wanted to attack Hungary, and I told my guys to just leave them to it until I got there with my 5 army doom train to take them out. Problem was, the French doubled their numbers overnight and started demanding we surrender Hungary. Of course, I was like, here mate, let me introduce you to my Russian lodger, fuck off Shitstain. But actually, I should have surrendered, because now they were coming at my men with not only enough death bots to get Sarah Connor before Arnie was even done flashing his junk to the bikers, but their fleet of super secret alien tech reverse engineered hot air balloons. Last stand, people asked. Fuck yeah, last stand, I said back. I grabbed my Frenchman disguise so I'd be able to get away at the end, and Jive walked on over to lead the Sards to their inevitable death once again. You know, sometimes I love that job. Anyway, I gotta go hose down the bog, just talk among yourselves or something. Nearest person to guess how many Frenchmen we took down with that little bedel gets a signed picture of me, alright? It's not 0, you fucking wise asses. Jeez, ungrateful dicks.